With over 1 million professional members, the Internet Marketing Association is a force to be reckoned with. This is IMA Leader, the official podcast of the world's largest association of Internet marketers. Join Dominic Sirianni, CMO, as he sits down with inspirational leaders, delves into the research lab, shares career opportunities from IMA partners like Microsoft, Oracle, and Adobe, and gives you the insights you need to perform at your best. Here's your host, Dominic Sirianni.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the live stream of the IMA Leader podcast series. My guest right now is Christoph Trappe. Christoph wears many hats. We're going to talk about a lot of those. Specifically, he's the director of content marketing at MedTouch. Christoph also runs a blog and website that's gotten incredible traction since he launched it, and specifically within the last 12 months, authenticstorytelling.net. Christoph, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it.
I want to start with your thoughts of today. You've been at Impact events for several years now. What did you think of where we are with Impact 15 so far?
Definitely growing since last year. Great discussions today. I was excited to see the discussions on at my session. We talked about influencer marketing, and as you probably could have guessed, I put a little bit of a different spin on it. And people had a good discussion and good questions, and it was very encouraging to see people kind of trying to stretch, their comfort zones and talk about new and exciting things.
I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed that you're not wearing one of your hashtag t-shirts.
So my brand now is I wear a suit when I speak. So that's kind of what it is. It just looks nicer when you take pictures. You post them all over the place. It just looks a little more professional.
Talk a little bit about authenticstorytelling.net.
Absolutely. So, a lot of people share stuff to get you to buy things from them. And I am not opposed to anybody buying anything from me at all. I take anybody's money if they want to give it to me. But it's about how do we share stories that actually connect us. So it's not just about, I trying to figure out what I know about you so I can get your money, but I'm actually trying to be relevant to you. I'm trying to share stories that can help you do something, or I share my expertise. Sometimes people say, well, if you share knowledge, it's going to make it less meaningful, less powerful. It's totally bogus. Just because I tell you how to do it doesn't mean you, first of all, can do it. And second of all, it actually helps me continue to build our knowledge base as a community. So it's a very exciting time to do that kind of thing.
You've seen an incredible amount of growth, and you're very transparent about it, which I really appreciate. But the last 12 months, you've seen a lot of engagement, a lot of growth in your level of influence. You're one of the top influencers at Content Marketing World. You're definitely one of the top influencers here. You have better name recognition than most of the people within the organization. How are you leveraging internet marketing in order to drive some of that engagement?
So I actually don't use the term leverage at all because it's, I'm trying to build a community. So I like to get people in. I like to get them involved. And then they can participate in whatever way they want to. And one of the things, especially with the Midwest group, we just launched that a couple months ago here at Google, downtown Chicago. And we talked about how do we educate, how do we connect, and how do we inform people. And it was just it just fits very nicely, authentic storytelling in the IMA, because it's about how do you educate each other, how do you inform each other, how do you connect people with each other. So that's very exciting to do.
Well, you referenced one of the other hats that you wear, which is you're the chairperson of the Midwest IMA Group. You've had a very successful launch these last few months. Talk a little bit about how you went about driving attendance, driving engagement for that event and that group specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a great example of how social media works. So all I did is I put a thing on LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere. I'm so excited. I'm now the chairman of the Midwest IMA Group, and we're gonna get this started. And I literally had Jackie Davidoff in Chicago reach out and say, hey, I want to get involved. How do I get involved? And she basically planned the whole thing. And she got a planning committee together, and we met once a month or once every 2 weeks or something. And they basically planned it. And that's kind of how it kicked off. I think it was like maybe 60, 70 people, something like that. Google headquarters, downtown Chicago. Very exciting. There was some big names there, some big influencers who came out and chatted with us. We had a panel of 4 or 5 people, somebody from the healthcare industry, Boeing. That was very interesting. Boeing mentioned they launched like 18 websites in December. And of course I said, why do you need 18 or whatever it was? Maybe it was even more. But so it was very exciting. We had a director from Google talking, Andy Credostina, a content marketing influencer. So it was a good group, good mix of opinions.
Any follow-up to that? Any future sessions planned?
Thanks for asking. I think it's November 19th. I'm pretty sure it is, at GoDaddy in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, actually. So we're going to take it to another state the next time. So we have, the Midwest states. Basically, it's every state in the central time zone other than Texas. Does that make it easy for you?
That makes it easy, but that makes it difficult on you. You got a broad geographical region there.
Right. So, yes. So it's a few states.
You've done a whole lot. You started in journalism. You've done marketing for nonprofits. Now you're at MedTouch. Talk about the evolution that you've been able to have, the impact you've been able to have at MedTouch as it relates to content marketing, and talk a little bit about the team that you have that supports that work.
Yeah, great question. So our team has grown. I mean, it's still growing. We currently have 2 open positions, actually. Hopefully we're going to be able to hire people soon for that. But the team, before last year, there wasn't even a content marketing department. So this year we have 7 people on the team with these 2 open roles, and a lot of journalism background. It's the content marketing newsroom. We kind of joke the hashtag Team MedTouch newsroom is humming along or something. And what we mean by that is tight deadlines, breaking news, somebody saying something on social that they need to respond to. So we give people guidance in the moment, live. Like Ebola hit, right? How is that going to affect your social media posts? So we actually hop in and we say, guys, we need to make sure you're not saying anything that would make you look bad, or it comes across bad. So
you have a very open culture with your team. We've talked about this a little bit. Have they ever done anything that might on social media that might in another organization be viewed as bad?
Well, I'm not going to give any opinions on other organizations, but I got 2 great examples. So today I was tweeting about how my boss is on social media and has like 100 followers, which isn't very, very many. And we were kind of joking about that. And her and I joke about it too. And then I said, and Donald Trump has 4 million, or maybe it's 41 million or something in the million. And I said, one has millions of followers, the other one doesn't, but only one of them actually has influence over me, right? So what happened after that, so she tweeted back at me during the presentation, and she posted a picture of herself and our CEO, the CEO, right, of a Inc. 5000 company, saying, so he was wearing a wig, and he had a name tag on and said Trump. So they were like, we are glad that you are hashtag under the influence. The other, it's just an open culture. The other good example, I had a team member one time tweeted me after I took her off a project because she was too busy on other things. Super awesome team member, but I took her off one project, and she tweeted, I just got work grounded, CC at C-Trap. And I thought it was pretty funny, actually. I favorited it, I responded to it and everything. But, a lot of organizations still take those things as, why would they say that? Right. Why would my CEO post a picture like that? Do you know what I mean? But this is who we are, and this is what we do, and people have a right to participate in their own stories publicly. This is the participation age, not the industrial age.
To that point, one of the things that I've learned from you over the course of the last few years that we've known each other is it's called social media. Be social. Absolutely.
There's still too many organizations that think it's a commercial break, and they send you all the stuff they want you to buy. It's just it's getting a little old with some organizations. So yeah.
Most of the tools in the space are for that purpose. They're one way. Are there tools, are there tips, are there techniques that people can use to make sure that they're leveraging this platform in a human-to-human way?
Absolutely, and I didn't plan on actually mentioning this book today. I talked about it earlier, Content Inc., Joe Polizzi's new book. I tweeted it out, the link, you can look at it. But he talks about the content tilt, right? So what you got to do is you got to figure out what you're going to talk about. And whatever that is, so if you're going to talk about internet marketing, there's a gazillion people talking about internet marketing. So what's your content tilt? So what's different? So I talk about internet marketing, content marketing, but then my content tilt is authentic storytelling, and hardly anybody talks about that. Mm-hmm. So number one, figure out what you're going to talk about. Number two, talk about it constantly. People say to me, Christoph, you tweet like 60 times a day. Aren't people getting old of it? And I said, well, let me see. I got like 50,000 followers. You have how many? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's a world of churn. People leave, and then you get more new followers. But people don't get old. It doesn't get old to look at content that's relevant.
I've been dying to ask you this question since I started following you a few years ago, especially since you started really increasing the amount of effort it looks like you're putting into authentic storytelling and really sharing sharing the education that you have. How much time do you spend writing? How much time do you spend preparing tweets, programming them to go out at some point in the future? At one point I remember you saying, I don't have room in the schedule for another tweet, so I must be at capacity. How do you balance that?
Well, since there's always a new day, you're never at capacity. I think I scheduled something earlier, November 9th or something. So, hopefully nothing would happen to me, but if something were to happen to me, my Twitter account would literally still hum along through November 9th. I think I have weekly blog posts scheduled through like November 23rd.
Wow.
So they would keep publishing. I do not have time to blog. I do not. I'm not kidding. I make time. Like tonight, I'm going to probably be sleeping on the plane, but, if it's a daytime flight, if Wi-Fi or something, I might tap a blog post out on my phone, and now I got one done. So that's
the tools that are available to you, right?
That's right. That's kind of how you have to do it. On social media, it does take time. I'm not going to lie, but I'm on the bike in the morning, early in the morning in the gym, and I might write like 15 tweets, and schedule them over the next few days. And I was really working out. I mean, the bike didn't need my hands to begin with, so.
Right. Use every minute.
That's right.
I could probably do this, but it would take me a little longer. I think I know all of your contact methods, but why don't you share with our audience how they can follow you, how they can get in touch with you, and how they can learn more about what you do?
Yeah, of course. AuthenticStorytelling.net. Check that out. Weekly blog posts at least. A lot of weeks there's 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, depending on what's going on. Twitter, of course, at @CTrappe. You can always follow me there. Those are probably the two best things. Facebook is fine too. There's a little more personal things on there, but they're all good.
Speaking of which, I think you had a new baby within the last year. Is that right?
Yeah, we got 1-year-old at home.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Christoph. Thank you for making time. It's great to see you.
You bet. Good to see you too. Thank you.
Ready to join the Internet Marketing Association? Membership is free at imanetwork.org/podcast. It takes less than 1 minute to gain access to research, education, and opportunities to move your career forward. Already a member? We'd love to hear your story. Introduce yourself at podcast@imanetwork.org for a chance to be featured on the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on I Am a Leader.